focused on doing. It's just part of it. You know, there's entertainers and there's competitors. And I totally understand that. And my job is to compete. And that's what I'm focused on doing.
Good so far. And this one is picked off and going back the other way. It's Andrew Makuba. A pick six the other way.
Really, really good. Proud of you.
Cool.
Really, really nice.
You're not fully proud, kinda.
I'm
kinda proud.
Look, first side, was it perfect? No, but she made plays.
And just like that, the preseason firestorm began. Dillon Gabriel, a quarterback fighting for his spot, stood in front of cameras after tossing away the Browns' momentum with costly mistakes. And instead of owning his performance, he turned the spotlight toward Shedeur Sanders, calling him an entertainer instead of a competitor. Think about that for a second. Shedeur Sanders, the rookie already outshining expectations, already proving himself with gutsy throws and poise, reduced to a showman in Gabriel's words. That's not just shade. That's a shot. And the NFL world noticed. Kevin Stefanski's decision to start Dillon Gabriel ahead of Shedeur Sanders in the Browns' second preseason game was bold, maybe even reckless. The idea? Give the rookie time to adjust, ease him in slowly. But after this game, after watching Gabriel crumble while Shedeur's talent loomed larger from the sidelines, it's clear who deserves the trust of this franchise. Gabriel struggled all night. No touchdowns, no big completions, and when the defense gave him protection, he couldn't capitalize. His mistakes weren't just mistakes, they were momentum killers. And here's the kicker. Instead of addressing that reality, Gabriel leaned on words. I compete. He entertains. That's a dangerous move, because words don't win games. Plays do. This wasn't just about one bad game. This was about the Browns' future and who they're willing to trust when the season gets real. Now let me ask you, do you think Kevin Stefanski made the right call starting Gabriel, or was Shedeur snubbed out of the chance to prove himself from the jump? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Gabriel's approach to the game told us everything. He played it safe, almost too safe. Against the first-team defense, with star linemen keeping the pocket clean, he should have had the confidence to push the ball downfield. Instead, he dinked and dumped, settling for conservative throws. No risk, no spark. And the moment those top defenders left the field, Gabriel's flaws exploded into view. Fumbles, turnovers, panic under pressure. And as if the football gods were sending a message, Andrew Makuba, yes, the Eagles' defensive standout, picked Gabriel off and took it to the house. A pick six. A dagger that summed up Gabriel's entire night. Meanwhile, fans and analysts alike were left wondering, if Shedeur had been on that field, would we have seen something different? Kevin Stefanski himself couldn't ignore it. At his presser, he admitted the obvious. 2 turnovers, both Gabriel's fault, completely shifted the game's momentum. We were doing some really good things, he said, but those giveaways were the difference. Rare accountability from a head coach, but also a silent indictment of the quarterback he chose to start. And here's where it gets real. The Browns didn't win because of Gabriel. They won in spite of him. Because the turning point came not from the offense, but from the defense. KJ Henry stepped up in the third quarter, snagging an interception and taking it 45 yards to the house. A defensive touchdown that flipped the scoreboard and bailed Cleveland out of what could have been a humiliating loss. Without Henry's heroics, Gabriel's mistakes might have buried the team. Let me throw it to you guys. Do you believe Gabriel deserves another shot after this? Or should the Browns hand the keys over to Shedeur once and for all? But it wasn't just Henry who made noise. On the other sideline, Andrew Makuba was everywhere. Disrupting plays. Shutting down receivers. His interception of Gabriel was just one highlight in a night full of them. The Eagles couldn't pull out the win, but Makuba left his mark. And ironically, his best moments came directly at Gabriel's expense. Now contrast that with Shedeur Sanders. This wasn't just about stats, though yes, Shedeur threw 2 touchdowns to Gabriel 0. It was about how each quarterback carried themselves. Gabriel tightened the offense, forcing his receivers into short routes with no room to breathe. Meanwhile, Shedeur opened the field, finding wideouts like Floria and Larvain on deeper throws that stretched defenses thin. That's the difference between playing not to lose and playing to win.
Can Shedeur Sanders play football in the NFL? Well, Let's find out together. No more opinions. Let's talk to the tape. It's 3rd and 9. They're going to come with the 5-man pressure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-man pressure. They're going to play man across the board. Hey, if defense is playing man-to-man, they're turning their back. Shedeur Sanders, he identifies the defense is in man-to-man coverage, so nobody is watching him. He also identifies the defense does not have contain. He escapes out the pocket. On 3rd and 9, he picks up the first down. He slides down to safety. Check for Shedeur Sanders. Let's keep it rolling. All right, here's what I love. You see condensed splits by the Cleveland Browns. Both the receivers are inside the numbers, so they're probably going to want to work outside. Shedeur, you got to identify, are they in man on defense or are they in zone? Last second, this cornerback, he backpedals, and you can quickly, pretty fairly on tell, okay, they're inside of a pattern match zone. Shedeur, he's going right here with the football, but here is what you have to understand. If this defensive back has eyes on Shedeur and he drops off too quickly, this can be a pick. This can be going the other way. So Shedeur, he gets the ball out of his hands, but the accuracy of this football between not one but two defenders and a fully outstretched defender, pinpoint perfect. The accuracy of that ball, pinpoint perfect. Can Shedeur Sanders play football in the NFL again? We finding out together. Fans are excited, and there it is. Bang! We've been waiting on the moment. We got to get a watch on the wrist instead of a wristband. Bang! We've been waiting on the moment. Let's keep it rolling. But in all honesty, this play is one.
When Emmanuel Aiko broke down Shedeur's performance, he didn't hold back. He called it perfect. Those needle-threading throws most quarterbacks wouldn't even attempt? Shedeur made them look routine. Passes through double coverage, delivered with confidence and accuracy. That's what separates competitors from placeholders. That's why fans keep saying Shedeur isn't just good, he's special. And when respected analysts are calling your game perfect, it's hard for critics to keep pretending you're just an entertainer. But here's where Shedeur really silenced the doubters. After the game, there was no boasting. Noddings at teammates. No look-at-me moments. His post-game interview was calm, humble, and centered on the team. The most important thing about being a quarterback, Shedeur said, is leading your team, being consistent. He talked about bouncing back from mistakes, staying level-headed, and guiding the group through highs and lows. That's maturity. That's leadership. And people noticed. Even GM Andrew Berry came over, smiling, telling Shedeur he was proud of him. The two exchanged some playful banter, but the admiration in Berry's eyes told the real story. It wasn't just about one preseason win. It was about belief. Belief in Shedeur as the future of this team. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel? Still taking shots at Shedeur. Still trying to frame the narrative instead of fixing his own play. That tells you everything about their mindsets. One is focused on competing and leading. The other is worried about optics and sound bites. So here's my question to you. What matters more in a quarterback? Raw stats? Or the leadership and character that elevate an entire team? Because if you ask me, Shedeur Sanders just proved he has both. So here's the reality. This game didn't just show us numbers on a stat sheet. It exposed something deeper. It showed the contrast in character, poise, and vision between two quarterbacks fighting for a job. Dillon Gabriel played hesitant, rattled, and at times careless. Shedeur Sanders played like he belonged. That's the story. And you could feel the shift, not just in the box score, but in the body language of the team. When Gabriel was under center, the offense looked tight. Receivers ran cautious routes, afraid to break deep because they knew the ball wasn't coming. Drives stalled. Energy dipped. But the moment Shedeur took over, the entire vibe changed. Wideouts opened up, the offense stretched the field, and the Browns started looking dangerous. That's the kind of presence you can't fake. Your teammates either believe in you or they don't. And with Shedeur, they do. Now, let's be honest here. This wasn't a perfect night for Shedeur either. No rookie is flawless. He had some missed reads, a couple of throws he probably wants back. But here's the difference. When things didn't go his way, Shedeur didn't sulk, didn't point fingers. He stayed locked in. He kept attacking. That's how leaders respond. Compare that to Gabriel, who after turnovers, looked shaken and defensive, leaning on press conference digs instead of bounce-back plays. So I'll ask you guys, if you were Stefanski, who would you trust to lead your team into the regular season? Shedeur Sanders, the calm leader with a firearm, or Gabriel, the safe option who crumbles when pressure hits? Kevin Stefanski now faces a crossroads. Coaches live and die by their quarterback choices. And right now, his decision to bench Shedeur for Gabriel is under fire. Fans are questioning it. Analysts are ripping it apart. And if this controversy lingers, it could define Stefanski's tenure in Cleveland. Remember, this is a coach already walking a tightrope with fans after inconsistent seasons. He can't afford to mismanage talent, especially at quarterback. Because here's the truth, Shedeur Sanders is not just another rookie. He's a fifth-round pick playing like a first-rounder. He's already making throws that veterans struggle with. And the longer Stefanski keeps him on the bench, the louder the noise will get. This isn't just a preseason story anymore. It's a brewing quarterback controversy that could explode into the regular season. And you know how this league works. Once a fan base latches onto a young star, it's nearly impossible to keep him off the field. Just ask teams who tried to redshirt their rookies. Patrick Mahomes was supposed to sit a full year. Josh Allen wasn't supposed to start right away. And yet, when talent forces the issue, coaches have no choice. So here's my question to you. Should Stefanski rip the bandage off now and name Shedeur the starter, or risk dividing the locker room by sticking with Gabriel? Now let's circle back to Gabriel's comments. Because this is more than just a one-off quote. When he said, "There's entertainers and competitors," he wasn't just trying to define himself. He was trying to diminish Shedeur. And that says a lot. When you feel the need to drag down a teammate to elevate yourself, it's usually because you know the competition is real. Gabriel knows Shedeur is breathing down his neck. He knows those throws, those touchdowns, that leadership, it's winning people over. So what does he do? He tries to paint Shedeur as style over substance. But the problem for Gabriel is simple. Shedeur's substance speaks louder than his words. 2 touchdowns, deep throws, pocket presence, poise in pressure moments. That's competition. That's what real quarterbacks do. And here's the irony. Gabriel called Shedeur an entertainer. But the only one putting on a performance was Gabriel, pretending he was in control when the game clearly wasn't. Meanwhile, Shedeur gave us a glimpse into his mentality. When asked what mattered most as a quarterback, he said, leading the team, being consistent. That's not just an answer. That's a philosophy. It's the difference between being a stat chaser and being a franchise cornerstone. Even the Browns GM Andrew Berry saw it. He went straight to Shedeur after the game, told him he was proud, and the two shared a light-hearted moment. That's not something a GM does unless he sees the future in you. That's respect. That's belief. What do you think matters more to a franchise? Flashy stats in practice? Or the trust and respect of the locker room? Because Shedeur seems to be winning both. And let's not forget the bigger picture here. This preseason game wasn't just about the Browns versus the Eagles. It was about the message being sent to the entire NFL. Shedeur Sanders isn't just hype. He's not just Deion's son. He's a competitor in his own right, proving he can hang with NFL defenses, read coverages, and make throws most vets shy away from. That's a statement. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel looked like a backup struggling to justify his spot. Conservative, hesitant, costly, and when the heat turned up, he folded. That's not hate, it's just reality. The Browns have a decision to make. Stick with the safe pick who already looks shaky, or hand the reins to the rookie who might just be the spark this franchise needs. As the dust settles, one thing is crystal clear. Shedeur Sanders has outplayed Dillon Gabriel in every measurable way. On the field, off the field, and in the eyes of teammates and analysts. He's shown composure, accuracy, and leadership. Gabriel has shown inconsistency, excuses, and cheap shots. And that's why this isn't just a preseason storyline. It's a controversy. It's Cleveland's quarterback battle spilling into the spotlight. And you better believe the NFL world will keep watching. So I'll leave you with this. Do you think Stefanski can afford to keep Shedeur Sanders on the bench any longer? Or will the fans and the locker room force his hand sooner than later? Because if this game told us anything, it's this. Shedeur Sanders is ready. Ready to lead. Ready to compete. And ready to prove that the entertainer label was never his. He's a competitor, a winner, and maybe, just maybe, the future of the Cleveland Browns. If you enjoyed this breakdown of the Browns quarterback controversy, Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. This is Gridiron Insights, your home for dramatic NFL stories, breaking controversies, and in-depth analysis of the players shaping the game. We've got more Shedeur Sanders coverage, more QB battles, and more of the stories the league doesn't want you to miss. So stick with us, because this season is just getting started. Like and subscribe to Gridiron Insights for more NFL drama and analysis.